Welcome to another episode of the Business Spotlight. I am joined today by our guest, Gina Yager. She is the founder of GYC Vegas. Gina, thank you for taking the time to be on this episode. I know time is very valuable, so I'm excited to learn more about you and your business. So without further ado, Gina, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Thank you so much, Edgar. I'm happy to be here and talk about GYC Vegas. We are a public relations agency. We are going on 5.5 years. So I'm excited to talk about how I started the business and what we do for your listeners. Before I opened GYC Vegas, I worked for another PR firm for 15 years here in Las Vegas. So I've been now in this market 21 years. And before that, just a couple of years out of college. My whole career has been in public relations and marketing. We handle all different types of clients, and we handle small businesses. We like working directly with owners, all the way up to large corporations in any industry. We just love to work with companies that have a really unique story to tell.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Gina, with you being in the industry for a little over 2 decades now, what do you feel is most misunderstood about your industry?
Yeah, there's so many misconceptions about PR. I would say number one, the question that we always get is that like advertising? Do you pay for ads, or they think it just is advertising? Another one is that they think we just send out press releases. That's all we do is we write press releases and we send them out and pray for someone to cover that. And another one is they think that it's all red carpets and celebrity relations, which is, I wish it was all that glamorous. Actually, I don't, because I've worked with celebrities before. That's behind me. I'd rather work with small businesses. But yeah, those misconceptions, it's not all about press releases. Of course, we love to create foundational information for the media, but it's so much more about creating a message, telling the story of what the company, wants to announce, or, what their goals are. Is it to grow their audience? Is it to increase sales? Is it to shape a new image? It's all about what the business goals are, and that translates into public relations efforts. And that is, our job is to create what they call earned media. And so what that is interviews on the news, stories that you read in a magazine that's maybe a feature story on your business, or interviews on a podcast like this. We pitch a lot of these opportunities to help our clients gain exposure within the media. And so everything we do, from managing events to community relations, it all ties back to getting those messages told in the news.
Yeah. And I think that's amazing, right? Because every business, every person, they have a personal story. And that's one reason I really, really enjoy doing this, right? In the Business Spotlight, the goal is to inspire and motivate people who are thinking about pursuing entrepreneurship, right? So that's one reason I really, really enjoy doing these. So with that being said, Gina, what inspired you to start your business?
It's a good question, and I get it all the time. And I'm a super honest, transparent person, right? So I always tell people I never really had the goal of opening my own business, but after being in the field for 17 years, at that point it was 17 years, my company started to fold. I had grown there to, I was started as an account executive, and then I worked my way up to senior, and then I was a manager, and then I was eventually the VP of the company, and I was responsible for hiring, staffing, recruiting, training, all of the above. And through those 15 years here in Las Vegas, I got to know all the other PR people in town, and I got to know a lot of the other agencies. And once my company they were in the process of kind of folding, I didn't know what's my next move. What do I do? And thinking about all of the other PR firms and people I knew, I thought, I don't really want to work for any of those people. I really would like to do my own thing. And so it went from maybe I'll freelance to, well, I can't just be Gina Yager publicist on my card. Maybe I should come up with a company name. And then it just kind of rolled into, well, I think I have my own agency here, the beginnings of one at least. And so I went on, the solo journey at first, but then as I started to grow my client base and really needed help and thought, I just can't do this on my own. That's when I started to hire employees. I really was methodical about, not bringing on too much at once and growing steadily to a spot that I felt was a good place for us to be. And that is, we are intentionally small. We are a boutique size. I like to keep it at a certain client base size and employee size.
And I think that's very impactful, right? Is exactly where you want to be. You saw the opportunity of, hey, I can do this on my own. And then you strategically and very methodically started to hire and grow the team and keep it a boutique, which I think has that personal touch of what most PR companies, when they're going after the big fish. And you've worked with all sizes. So,
right.
I mean, you've been in the business 2 decades. So what are you most excited about, Gina, in 2023?
What am I most excited about? Last year, I had decided to be very intentional with networking and how we grow the business. For a while, I struggled with how to, because of this, our limited client base size, right? And the size that we like to keep the company in terms of employees as well. It's challenging when you, especially for an agency, when you lose a client, then you need to, you have a spot to bring somebody else in. How do you manage the ebbs and flows of, of your client roster? And so I've received some mentorship on my own through people I've met. I belong to both chambers in Las Vegas, a Henderson Chamber and the Vegas Chamber. And I received some really good advice about, quality networking. It's not about going to those events where there's 300 people and trying to shake everybody's hand in the room. It's about creating relationships and, building those strong connections. And so I joined the Henderson Chamber's leadership. I'm in class of 23 right now, and we're working, there's 33 of us, professionals who are working towards, we're working on a community project for a nonprofit. We chose one called Positively Arts. I want to give them a shout out. And so we're doing some fundraising efforts for that. That was one way that I decided I was going to create strong relationships. There's 30 people in my class. It's easy to become friends with 30 people and create a bond with each one of them. And so, I am working on that. And then we are also, we joined the Vegas Chamber's President's Club. That was another mentor advice I got, that we're also working to continue to cultivate and build relationships through that membership as well. And so I'm excited in 2023 to continue, working on building those relationships and utilizing those avenues to create brand awareness for our company, GYC Vegas. I want people to think of our company when they hear of somebody who might need PR. I want us to come up as, oh, I know her, and they know me authentically. They know what kind of company I run and how I guide my staff and how involved I am in the business, not just, overseeing, but actually being a part of things on the day-to-day with all of our clients.
Yeah. And I think that's, that's an amazing, really, really like gold information that you gave there is not about the quantity, but the quality in nurturing those relationships that you're building.
Right.
That is for somebody getting into business. It's the relationships that you maintain and the relationships that you build that leads to that bottom line.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer myself in that. And that's what's helped, with the expanding the network is who you bring in and who which is,
and it's I was going to add, it's a scary thing sometimes networking for certain people, we are not all comfortable with walking up to someone in a room or a group of people and saying, hi, I'm Gina and I do this, and it's this way is comfortable for everybody, to get involved. I would encourage everyone, when you're starting a business, to join those organizations, join those networking organizations, but don't be afraid to just talk to a few people. That's where all you need to start at. You walk into a luncheon, it's like, find a table, sit down, and then you're going to end up talking to everybody at your table. And you can start relationships that way, instead of being that, intimidated by large groups. And then you go from there, and then you build those, and then, it's baby steps.
Yep, definitely baby steps. Gina, how do you stay motivated and focused on your goals?
How do I stay motivated? Well, right now the leadership is a big part of that, because we have a coach ourselves, a leadership coach that's helping us establish goals and think about those goals, and then holding us accountable for them. What keeps me motivated is I love my team. I've got a great group of very dedicated staff members who love what they do, and I'm always encouraging them, incentivizing them, and rewarding them, because I want to keep them around. I want to keep them happy and motivated themselves too. So I think that's what drives me, and then of course our clients as well, and wanting to see them succeed motivates me to continue what we do.
Yeah, that's a good concept, right? Where you take care of the team takes care of the clients take care of the business takes care of you. It's a little loop. It's a little loop.
Absolutely.
And you motivate the team, you're there for them, you empower them. And what I've seen a lot of the great companies do that we've coached is we tell them to reward risk, because with those risk takings, you can't punish them as long as they're not detrimental to the building and they're running things by you. Like, hey, here's an idea, here's something we should try to innovate. And that's how some companies start to scale, right? Is rewarding those risks that the employees take, because that will empower them to do great things for the company.
Yeah, definitely. I've done that myself.
Now, what advice would you give 20-year-old Gina that was just getting into business?
Oh boy, you're not going to make $23,000 a year forever. That's probably what I would say to myself. That's for sure, because starting out in a PR career is not a high paying job, especially with like, if you're doing the flip side of that, journalism is the same thing. They don't make a lot of money, but you have to have the passion for what you do, right? But the advice I would give is, gosh, it's the same actually the same tenets and values that my parents instilled in me. And it's just, demonstrating the dedication, working hard, and, not giving up on what your goals are for the future. So, and I think I followed those, which is weird. I just, everybody wants a crystal ball, right? What's the future look like for me? But if you stay determined and help your company look good, that's what it's all about, then you will reap those rewards, and you will grow quickly in your career.
Yeah. And look, for somebody tuning in and looking and thinking about getting into entrepreneurship, you're giving away really, really good information right there. That's very, very valuable, because there's a lot of mistakes first-time entrepreneurs make, right? And it's a learning curve. But like you talked about it in your Henderson leadership, you have a coach, you have someone holding you accountable, you have someone helping you with goals. And there's a lot of businesses that don't do any of that. And that's the difference in what keeps someone from, here's the path, here's where the end of the tunnel looks like, and here's what I need to do to get through the tunnel to the light, right? Now, leads to my next question, Gina. What do you see as the biggest opportunity in your industry right now?
Biggest opportunity in my industry. I don't want to give it away for other people. No, I mean, I continue focusing on going after the types of businesses that I would like to work with. And those are smaller businesses where we are working directly with leadership, or we're working directly with those decision makers or the owner themselves, so that we can tie their wishes, their hopes, their dreams, their goals to, we can tie what we do to what they want to achieve. Because that's what we do, is we match those companies together. So, and in Vegas, most of the other companies that are our competition, I would say 70% of them are going after restaurants, hotels, nightclubs, entertainers. When I stepped away from my old company, that I said, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm done representing all of that stuff. They can all fight over that. I want to work with businesses that have unique stories to tell that people don't think of when they think of Las Vegas. And most of our client base, there's only one Vegas-y type of client on our roster, which is a whole lot of fun, and we love representing them. And it's a wedding chapel, the Little Vegas Chapel. But if you look at the rest of them, they're nothing of what people would think of Las Vegas for. And so I think that's fun. So that's a little, I guess that's the opportunity, is to, at least for agencies, for public relations agencies, is to represent different types of businesses, not just go after the hospitality stuff.
Yeah. So you found an interesting niche, you saw an opportunity, and you created a agency and boutique around that to tell the business owner story that aligns with the goals, and being able to translate that for them, because they do struggle, right? Like, they don't know how to get those words out. They have a really good idea. They're very good at what they do, but they just need that little bit of help to make or break, right?
Yeah, they commonly say, no one knows about us. That's our job, is to let people know, is to inform the community that there's this great organization doing whatever it is they do.
Amazing things. So I like that. Now, as we're getting out of COVID, right, along this entrepreneurship journey for yourself, Gina, what have you personally learned about yourself?
About myself. Getting out of COVID, what have I personally learned? I guess not to worry, not to be anxious, that things, you put yourself out there, you create opportunities for yourself to develop more relationships, and things will happen. Things will happen naturally and organically if you're making that effort, right? So before COVID, I was a little bit of a worrywart in terms of the business, like, oh my gosh, we just lost we just gained a client. Great. You're all happy. You're on your high. Right. And then you lose one and you think, oh my gosh, now I have to fill that void. But things have naturally grown, and I know that they will continue to. So whenever we're in one of those, those points, I don't stress about it anymore. I think that I can handle it.
Yeah, 100%. And you said it well earlier, right? Like, you stepped out of your comfort zone and you joined the leadership group. That's a big step, because I've heard nothing but great things come out of that group. And I know I've built some relationships with some of the people that were in the last one. And I got to attend that gala that they had for them.
Oh, so you did?
That was really, really cool to watch.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for you and what that does for you and your business.
Thank you.
As we wrap up the business spotlight, what's the best way for people to connect with you, get a hold of you if they're looking for your services, Gina?
Oh, sure. So we are at gycvegas.com. So a little background on that is, that's the name of our company, is GYC Vegas. I started it as Gina Yager Creative, because I had built relationships with so many people doing business, for 15 years in town, that I wanted them to know who was behind the name of the company. But as it grew, and we now have 5 employees and 2 freelancers, I wanted them to have a sense of ownership in the company as well, and it not just be my name. So I took what our website was and I turned that into the company name. So that's where the name GYC Vegas comes from. But they can find us there online. And we're also on Instagram at GYC Vegas. Facebook and Twitter. And then, yeah, they can personally reach out to us that way.
All right. Now, my final question is, what's one question you wish I did ask?
What's one question? I don't know. I don't have one that I wish that you would. That's a good question, but I don't know if I can answer it. I think you asked some really pointed questions on what entrepreneurs should be looking for, how to open that business. What I don't know, I guess parting pieces of advice is, start slowly. It doesn't all need to be done overnight. But the first step is to get out there and start shaking hands and meeting people. And if you've transitioned from another field, let's say you're starting a business in something you've never done before, even reaching out to former friends or, friends, colleagues, people you've worked with in the past is a great way to establish or reestablish those relationships, let those people know what you're doing now. And that can be even some of your first clients, which it was for me. So our first, I think, 1 or 2 clients was from relationships that I had before that. Oh, Gina started a company, you should talk to her. And they're already referring me. So, yeah, I would say that maybe that was the question is, what's your first piece of advice when people are opening up a company?
Yeah. And that's really, really good. Cause I know like when we're coaching a lot of clients when we're going through their vision, their mission, their purpose, a lot of them are very focused on perfecting all the back end stuff. Like I have to have the perfect website. I have to have the perfect messaging. When the first thing they need to go get your first client.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's all, you can grow that. I started with a GoDaddy templated website, which I actually still have, but we continue to perfect, not just having that like landing page, but then expanding it and refreshing it all the time and, layering on, okay, now we need some help with internet marketing. Now we want to, have this service on top of it. So you don't need to, you can start with kind of bare bones and then work your way up as you're starting to make money and starting to make a profit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Gina, thank you for joining us on this episode of the Business Spotlight. I know we can probably keep talking for about another hour, and we've been a really good conversation. There's a lot of very valuable information, and I know the viewers will really, really enjoy this. So thank you again, Gina, and I look forward to connecting with you.
Thank you, Edgar.